give a little running tour of this little town, Bethune, South Carolina. I started my law enforcement career down here back in the late 78. The chief of police was my uncle. He had married my daddy's baby sister. This was a whole lot different back in the late 70s, 1980. Wow place where 341 and Highway 1 come together. A lot of this stuff wasn't here. It had changed a lot. That dollar store wasn't there. Back then, this was a convenience store right there, and it was the only damn thing open at night on the third shift, and I was permanent third. I got a Tuesday night off. That's rough on a young fella. And all these women and girls were chasing after me. My uncle stayed right there, and that was the liquor store, and he's dead now. And this little old restaurant right here, I don't remember, Mommy Pops, I think the name of it was. And a man and his wife out of Camden, Lugoff, opened this one. They had another one in Lugoff, and a little girl was a waitress, their daughter. She was the cutest little thing I ever seen in my life. She actually fed me for free, among other things. I say I want a hamburger with cheese. I ended up marrying her. That's a whole different story. Here's the car wash. Old truck stop was down here. That door was open, garage. This truck stop was open and had business, and they had a little restaurant right there, and I used to eat in there sometimes too. And there was a girl from Camden who was trying to be sweet on me, built like a she's trashy, but attractive in a trashy kind of way. I bought a car from that place right there years ago. And Lynch's River is down this way. You can't come into this town without crossing Lynch's River in all four directions. Now this was the dentist's office and a little motel. And this is where I stayed, in a little apartment. Go through that hole right there and hang a right, and there's two doors down on the left. And that's where I stayed in there. I had a little black dog I called Captain Jack. I laid him out to use the bathroom, and he'd crap in the yard, and them people going to the dentist's office would step in it, bring it into his office. He got mad at me. I used to run my air conditioner in the wintertime. He went out there and cut the breaker off, so I couldn't. Wrote a lot of tickets down through here. Made some arrests, got my butt whipped. Seen some gruesome things in here. And death chainsaw. Cut a fellow's head off accidentally. Never seen nothing like that before. Then they started with the chicken strut, and that thing got violent, serving alcohol. That place there wasn't there back then. Drunks fighting, God almighty. And that post office wasn't there, it was uptown. And there's a little old place that doomed me right there, that little restaurant. And that's where my uncle lives, and his wife, my aunt, still lives there. And I see her son's there, his truck there. That bank wasn't there. The schoolhouse is back over that way. I would park right there next to this building and then walk across the street at night into that store. And they let me keep some food in the refrigerator, the walk-in refrigerator back there. I'd go in there and fix myself a sandwich. I could look at everybody through the glass doors and nobody would know I was in there. Made some arrest that way until they called on. All the stuff would change. The mattress office used to sit right there. Over yonder was the police department. That was a white bar, old redneck bar. White people went there. And over here across the street was a black bar. And they'd have fights and crap. We went in to raid that black bar one time, and right there. That was the bank right there. He got robbed. We went in there to raid it. Hayward told me, I'll go in the front, you come in the back. And we'll catch him gambling and stuff. At a designated time, I went in and I didn't see old Hayward. He was the chief, uncle. I was in there by myself. They threw me out the door. I went back in, he put me in. Used to sit at this old store and run radar. Got a call one night. There was a woman down here off this side road. Right there on the left where the town sign is. She was out there moon tanning naked. Who would be complaining on that? But I went down there and talked to her a couple hours. Had to search for evidence. And she had some evidence. Woo! Back in those days, they'd hire you and train you on the job, and you're supposed to go to the Criminal Justice Academy in Columbia, South Carolina, within 1 year of your employment date, but that didn't always work out. I finally got there. And when I got there, it was 3 months long. When I graduated, came back to this little old town. Was out here one night with some deputies, Kershaw County deputies, right here at the bank. We parked right there. Was about 2 o'clock in the morning. Wasn't nothing here to practice our fast draw. One of them accidentally shot the bank. Looks like they got yeah, that's a police car. But it says fire department now. But that was the police department on this end, right there, that door. And we actually had 2 cells, just like Mayberry. Of course, that garage door wasn't there, and it was an office and cells. You lock people up, you throw them in that jail cell and leave them. Going about your business, you're on duty by yourself back in those days until the judge come in the next morning. That was town hall. I remember that secretary used to work in there. And I remember the mayor. It was Tom Ed Herring. He was on the council. And that Amtrak would come through here wide open. And the other trains, and I remember the schedule. They were supposed to slow down, but they didn't always. I'd clock them on my little radar, running about 70 miles an hour. And the courtroom was right there. It says laundry now, but that was the courtroom. Oh, the days. Now that old place is closed down. They dispatched for me out of the Churchill County Sheriff's Office in Camden. My call sign was B2, B for Bethune. Hayward was B1, and we had two part-timers that helped us. But I remember one of the deputies got on the radio and said, "To be or not to be?" Making fun of me. We got along good with him. Hector DeBrule was the sheriff at the time. His son Benny was on the sheriff's department. And I run into Benny here. His mother and my mother were roommates in a nursing home in Bishopville. And I saw him after all these years. But his mother passed away. And my mom's still there, and that's where I'm going. There used to be a little old pull-off down here on the left where I would sit sometimes backed up and run radar. Till somebody put a board with some nails in it and blew out my tires. All changed. All changed. It was right along in here somewhere on the left. Done growed up and gone now, I guess. One night I had to take a prisoner to the county jail in Camden. Never been there before, didn't know where it was. Went to Camden. Dispatcher had told me about where it was, and I rode around and couldn't find it. I asked my prisoner in the back seat, did he know where it was? He told me to kiss his ass and go to hell. But I found it. Long time ago. And then I left here after about 2.5 years or so, and went to Great Falls to be a police officer and worked my way up to become a chief of police. They had a program that they would pay for some classes and stuff that was pertaining to your job. I went to USCL in Lancaster. After that, they canceled they took it out of their policy, town policy. I was the only one ever done it. Oh, that's the tour.